Hello everyone, welcome to the Shadows of Kilforth solo playthrough. Today we'll be playing as a human ninja. We are going to be taking on the Ancient, the Render of Flesh. Let's take a look at his card because defeating him is how you win the game. He has 13 health, and he will be rolling 5 attack dice when he attacks us, and he will be appearing at the Dark Pinnacle once we complete our saga. And I need to show you that next, so you know what's going on as we play this playthrough. But first, you should take note of the Ancient's abilities. It could cause you to lose the game if you don't. These abilities will come into play when you first attack him. The first one, which is a trap, triggers immediately, where you'll be sacrificing one spell, discarding all your rumors. But on the bright side, you will be gaining a fate token, and your fate tokens are crucial against the Render of Flesh. And right under that, the Render of Flesh is going to gain +1 maximum and current hit points for each item we have, also each enemy and each enemy token in play. So he's going to be a bit stronger if we don't take care of the enemies on the board and if we have too many items. The third one is important because when a battle round starts, each hero is going to discard 1 fate, and any hero who cannot is eliminated from the game. So the amount of fate tokens you have is the amount of rounds you have to eliminate all the Render of Flesh's hit points. And starting out with the base health of 13, you'll need all the rounds you can get. The last ability is the hit point damage stays on the Render of Flesh after battle. And this really comes into play in a multiplayer game. If a player is defeated, the Render of Flesh will retain its damage, where a normal enemy would heal back to full health. There are 2 things to note for the night phase, the first one being, whenever a mountain location falls into gloom, we're going to place 1 random plot card on it, and the second one is during the night phase, the Render of Flesh is going to heal 2 hit points. You're going to have to defeat the Ancient to win the game, so I recommend that you take a look at the abilities so that your plans aren't thrown to the wayside when the battle actually starts. Another very important aspect of the game is your saga. There are 10 different sagas to choose from, which is one of the many factors that add replayability to this game. Let's take a look at Chapter 1 of our saga. Completing chapters in your saga is how you're going to level up in Shadows of Kilforth. What you want to do is you need to collect cards that have the 3 keywords located at the bottom. Here we have Stranger, Enemy, and Plains. So we need to get a card with each of those keywords, 3 separate cards. If one card has both keywords, you can only use it for one of those keywords. So you'll need to acquire 3 different cards. That's why it's a good idea to look for a reward during the setup phase that may already have your keyword on it, because leveling up as quick as possible, it'll give you a better chance at winning the game. So let's get to the story of the Capture Lawbreaker saga, which is where your imagination comes into play.
Bold as brass, the escaped murderer has been living amongst the local townsfolk, telling them lies and tales of woe to convince them of his innocence. You have been tasked by the resident lord with tracking down this ne'er-do-well, who is subsisting solely on the goodwill of these impressionable people. Your first call of order is to find and interrogate the town elder, but reaching him will require a dangerous journey.
So taking a look at our keywords, there are no strangers or enemies on the map right now. However, there are plains locations. So we have the option to head south down to Evelforsina. And let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful artwork for a second. Our other option is to follow this rumor of becoming a lifesaver and heading to the Fool's Den. And this title will allow us to exhaust a card and heal a hit point once per day. That is quite valuable. We want to go ahead and get that into play. So let's go ahead and travel up to the Fool's Den. I think that's a smart move. First, before we do any traveling, I want to go ahead and spend an action point to become hidden, just in case we run into any problems. That's a great idea. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and place the green tree token on top of our card, so we know that we're hidden. This allows us to sneak away from any enemies or even gain surprise on them. You can gain surprise on strangers as well. And now that we're hidden, let's go ahead and spend another action point on moving up into the Fool's Den. And if we take a look at the Fool's Den card, we can see the text on the bottom says, heroes gain 1 action point when they move into this location for the first time on any day. And that is certainly the case here. So let's go ahead and take that action point back as we head into this wondrous territory, seeking out adventure and looking to earn the title of Lifesaver. We're going to go ahead and draw an encounter card from the forest location encounter deck. And if you look on the Fool's Den card in any of the corners, you can see it is a forest location. That will tell you what deck you're going to go ahead and pull the encounter from. It also says it on the back. And we have come across a stranger, and she is a Kiner, a practitioner that is devoted to the ancient arts of Kind to use their abilities to manipulate the world. First, let's take a look at her keywords. She has the keywords stranger, insane, and forest. We do need a stranger. And there are 2 different ways that you can defeat a stranger. The first is to go ahead and use your influence ability to convince them to aid you. The second is to go ahead and defeat them in combat. She only has 3 health, but she does roll 5 attack dice. Now, remember, we are hidden, so we would surprise her, and we would get to roll 1 extra attack die in the first round of combat. Let's go ahead and take a look at our card. So we are a human, and let's go ahead and pull up our ninja card as well. On the left-hand side of our human card, we have 4 different stats. At the top, we have our combat. Underneath it, we have our study. Underneath that, our sneak. And underneath that, our influence. You can see that our ninja card adds +1 to our combat and +2 to our sneak. And what that gives us is the total amount of dice we roll for that test. So in order to influence Kiner, we would roll 2 dice and we would need 5 successes. Now, for your first roll when you're trying to influence a stranger, if you get no successes, well, they automatically become your enemy, and then you have to fight, and you lose the element of surprise. But if you do get that initial success, you can go ahead and spend another action point and go ahead and roll again until you get the amount of successes that you need, as long as you have enough action points to get you there. If you end the day and you run out of action points without getting the success value that you need, you're going to lose all of your successes and have to start over again the next day. Now, our Kiner has a special ability that whenever you fail an influence test against her, you place your enemy token on this card, even if you already have previous successes on this card. So, anytime you come across a card whose text differs from the rulebook, the text on the card will take precedence. So taking on Kiner and trying to defeat her with our influence isn't such a good idea. The other way we can defeat her is to beat her in combat. And because we are hidden, we can use the element of surprise. That would allow us to roll an extra attack die in the first round of combat only. And because she does roll 5 attack dice every round, and we only get to roll 5 attack dice in our first round with surprise, will more than likely result in us losing multiple health points. Any 5s or 6s she rolls is a success, and each success will take 1 health point off of us. I don't want to lose any health points because you also lose action points. You can lose a day easily just trying to heal back up. So I'm just going to go ahead and avoid her for now, and that allows me to stay hidden. If I would try to influence her, or if I have combat with her, I become unhidden and would have to spend an action point to become hidden again. What I'm going to do is go ahead and take a discover action and put this title into play as an asset. And as you can see, it has the deed ability, and that means I can perform this without spending an action point. The veil means I need to turn the card to the right and exhaust it, and then when I break camp in the morning, it refreshes and I can use it again. So I can use it once per day to heal 1 hit point to everyone at my location, which in solo play is just me. Now I have a decision to make on where to go next. I still need a plains keyword, and there's a plains location above me. It is the Arid Ruins. Let's take a look at this. And heroes lose 1 action point when they move into this location. No thank you. Oh, you know what? We forgot to take our action token off for the discover action. Well, I think what I'm going to do is let's check out this forest location next to us. It is the Imperial Forest, and heroes may perform one move action here to move directly to the Sea of Clouds. Just like a little secret passage over to the Sea of Clouds. And you know what? Let's go ahead and head on into the Imperial Forest and see what unfolds. Let's go ahead and draw a location encounter card, and we have discovered a place, a workshop. We can either use our study ability or our sneak ability to defeat this. And in the bottom right hand corner you can see that we will gain 1 gold, or we have the option to draw from the loot bag. We're keeping this in our hand as a rumor. It has the keywords place, abode, and forest. And down next to the 1 gold coin is a title icon. So we can keep this as a rumor, or we can discard it and get the top card of the title deck and put that into our hand as a rumor. So we are now out of actions for our turn. And wait, let me bring that card up again. It has the word trophy on it, which means after you confront it and successfully defeat it, you get to perform a free market action. And I'll go over that when we go to the Monoshowa Shrine. And that is it. We are out of actions for the day. It is now night. Let me go ahead and draw a card from the night deck. And we have a weather effect, an evil blizzard. And when we break camp, each hero loses 1 action point, down to a minimum of 1 action point. So, instead of having 4 action points to start off tomorrow, we're only going to have 3 action points. And that will continue as long as the evil blizzard is in effect. That can only be replaced with another weather condition. Also, the nesting woods is going to fall into gloom. So we'll go ahead and flip that card over to its gloom side. And if we end any of our days now in the nesting woods, we will be taking -2 health. And that concludes day 1. Real quickly, let's take a look at the map. And we are in the Imperial Forest, which is over here. It has a secret shortcut, and it heads over to the Sea of Clouds, which is over here. We are going to go ahead and confront the workshop in the Imperial Forest. Let's take a closer look. But before we can do anything, we have to break camp. And what we do there is we go ahead and remove our hidden token, and we go ahead and gain our action points back. Now remember, we're in the midst of an evil blizzard, so we're going to start the day with 1 less action point. Also, when breaking camp, if we had any deed cards that we had failed and exhausted, we would go ahead and refresh them during the breaking camp phase. And today we are going to go ahead and confront this workshop. So let's take a look at the card, and we can choose to either gain 3 successes with our study, or we can gain 2 sneak successes by using our sneak ability. So let's pull up our human. Let's not forget to add our ninja and our lifesaver titles to our total die rolls. Now, we would be rolling 3 dice to try and get 3 successes for study, but we'd be rolling 5 dice to only try and get 2 successes for sneak. So that's a no-brainer, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can sneak into this workshop. So let's go ahead and gather 5 dice and see if we can get 2 successes. Successes are 5s and 6s. Okay, we spot the owner. He heads into the next room, and we open the door and sneak in. And we only have 1 success. Oh, he comes back. What we're going to have to do here is we have to wait. We have to spend another action point to see if we can successfully sneak in. Oh, it looks like he's gone back into the other room. Now with locations, even if we fail and get 0 successes on our first roll, it's okay. That doesn't matter. You can go ahead and roll again. In our second roll, we go ahead and get enough successes, and we have successfully snuck into the workshop. So let's go ahead and take a look at our rewards. In the bottom right-hand corner, we can choose to go ahead and take 1 gold, or we can draw a loot token from the loot bag. Now, I almost always draw a loot token when it's only 1 gold. Let's go ahead and shake it up for some added luck, and let's reach in and grab a loot token and see what we get. Alright, we have 1 gold. It looks like we are even Steven. So let's go ahead and grab a gold from the supply and put that down in front of us, and let's take another look at this card. So you always have the option to take the gold value or a loot token. Now also in the bottom right-hand corner of the card is a little icon, and you have the option to draw the top card of the deck that matches that icon. You also have the option of keeping this card in your hand as a rumor for its keywords. But I'm going to go ahead and discard it for the top card of the title deck. And I drew the Oathbreaker. But before we take a look at the Oathbreaker, we had the word trophy on our last encounter card, the workshop. And we can resolve that now. It allows us to perform a free market action. Now we're going to skip this. This is optional. We do not want to do that. I'll show you how to do that later. Let's get back to the Oathbreaker and let's take a look at that card. It has the keywords title and merit, and it has a hero ability. And a hero ability is always in effect, meaning you don't have to veil or exhaust a card in order to use the ability. And this ability will allow me to add +2 to my attribute rolls against encounters that have my enemy or claim tokens on them. And we have to travel to Evilfor Sina in order to discover it. Right now, it is only a rumor to us. And there's a couple things you can do with rumors. One is you can discard a rumor from your hand once a day to add a success to one of your challenges. Keep in mind that if you've already spent one of your fate tokens to gain a success this day, you won't be able to take this option. Another thing you can do with a rumor card is you can sell it when you take a market action. We'll get into that later, but the card will sell at half its gold value, rounded down. Now we only have 1 action left for today. And we're going to go ahead and perform, remember, we're not hidden here. So let's get risky and go ahead and perform a search action. What that's going to have us do is we're going to go ahead and pull an encounter card. And we have come across another stranger. It has the stranger keyword, noble, and forest. It's also going to require 5 influence, which is very tough for us. We only have 2. And she only has 3 health and rolls 4 attack dice if we decide to engage her in combat. And if we are able to successfully defeat her, we would get 1 gold or a loot, and we could choose to get a card from the allied deck or keep her as a rumor. And the druid has a weakness for anything with the keyword pious. So if you have any cards in play that have the keyword pious on it, you can automatically defeat the druid with a deed action. It's called Overcome, and it allows you to take the action without spending any action tokens to complete it. So let's go ahead and put the stranger on back, and it is now time for night. Remember, we still have an evil blizzard going on. Into day number 2, and we have ourselves a stranger. Will be showing up at the Wheeled Heart, and that'll be going into gloom. That is over here. Let's go ahead and flip that into gloom. And if we decide to make camp here, we will end up losing -1 health point. We're getting a lot of strangers, and that Oathbreaker title is looking a lot better right now, giving us +2 to each attribute test. She has the stranger in the noble keyword, and when she's revealed, which is now, place the stranger at Wheeled Heart. So she's going to be over in the Wheeled Heart. And in order to convince this diplomat to assist us, we are going to need at least 3 successes in our influence test. If we decide to attack her, she has 3 health points, and we'll be rolling 3 attack dice back. You might have noticed by now the sneak value that's on the stranger's cards, and wondering why that's there. Well, now's a good time to explain it to you. The reason being is there can be more than 1 encounter card out in any location. And let's say I decided to go ahead and attack the stranger I met earlier, Kiner, and she defeated me. I would end up going back to Monashoba Shrine, defeated, but she would still be on the board and she would have my enemy token on it. And if there was another encounter card there that I wanted to interact with, I could go ahead and become hidden, move in there. I would have to deal with her first, whether I fight her or I evade her, and I would use that sneak value to determine how many successes that I need. One more thing is, when you are hidden, you can go ahead and become unhidden whenever you'd like. You don't have to spend an action to do it. You just go ahead and remove the green tree hidden object token off of your character. And real quick, back to the new stranger that just came out. If we defeat her, we are going to go ahead and get 3 gold or a loot token, and either decide to keep her as a rumor or go ahead and discard her and draw the top card of the ally deck. We have now completed the day and night phase for day 2, and we will go ahead and break camp and continue on in day 3 in the next video. Until next time.